Okay, and welcome back to another video. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this one down into a little mini-series, and through that we're going to be making a poem. But I thought the first one could just be recognising features of a poem. What we'll do next is we'll look a little bit more at syllables, and then we'll look a little bit more at rhyme. And we might do another one as well, so it'll be a little mini-series all about poetry. So, first thing is I recognise the features of a poem. What do we see on here that makes it look different to a story? The first thing that stands out to me is the general shape of it. It's not shaped like a story. A story, the sentences go on to the end of the line, and then a new line, and it goes on. But this, the line stops here, the line stops there, the line stops here, the line stops there. There's a gap. Line stops there, there. There's a gap. It's a weird shape. Number one thing that I spot, it's an odd shape. I might just pop that down up here. I've not even read it yet, and I can see it looks different. Can you spot anything else that looks different? Will you tell your partner at home? Pause. Yeah, now you've come back. I bet another thing you notice is it's grouped into these little sort of chunks, isn't it? I've not read it yet, and already I'm spotting these differences. There's a chunk here, there's a chunk here, and there's a chunk here. These would normally be called paragraphs in a story, but in a poem, they're known as stanzas. So it's broken up into stanzas, and this has, how many stanzas? 3 stanzas, you're absolutely right. In each stanza are a certain number of lines. Do you recognise that? How many lines are in each stanza? Pause. Yeah, that's right, there's 4 lines in each stanza. You don't have to have 4 lines in each stanza, you don't have to have 3 stanzas, but this poem does, and all poems will follow a kind of pattern. So we've got a 4, 4 and 4 line stanza. Really important when we write a poem to think about our lines. When we write a story, it doesn't really matter how many lines. When we got to the end of the line, we move to a new line. Yeah, we don't move to a new line because it's a new sentence, we carry on to the end of the line. In a poem, however, when the rhythm, when the beat of that line has stopped, we must go to a new line. This is the most important thing, only because it's the number one thing that we get wrong as children. All right, maybe the other 2 we're going to spot a little bit better after I read it to you. So this is known as The Cow by Robert Louis Stevenson. And Robert Louis Stevenson is a fantastic writer. When he writes a story, he's called an author. When he writes a poem, he's called a poet. The friendly cow, all red and white, I love with all my heart. She gives me cream with all her might to eat with apple tart. She wanders lowing here and there, and yet she cannot stray, all in the pleasant open air, the pleasant light of day. And blown by all the winds that pass, and wet with all the showers, she walks among the meadow's grass and eats meadow flowers. What did you spot? What did you notice that was different after I read it? Can you tell your partner now? Pause. One of the things I guess you might have spotted was there were some rhyming words, weren't there? We've got white and might, heart and tart, there and air, stray and day, and it goes on. Rhyming words. Always at the end of the line. Notice that. That's going to help you when it comes to choosing your lines. Rhyming words often come at the end of the lines in a poem. Don't have to have rhymes, but they are there. I'm going to pop that one down. Rhyme. What was the other thing? Let me read another bit. She wanders lowing here and there, and yet she cannot stray, all in the pleasant open air, the pleasant light of day. Rhythm. Yep, there is definite rhythm to it, okay? When you listen to a song, you're basically listening to a poem. The lyrics of a song are basically like a poem. A poem has this kind of flow to it. How on earth does it get that flow though? That's a really good question that we should probably answer in another video. And that is what we're going to do. I just thought I would end you by reading you another of my favourite poems. And one of my favourite poems is known as Jabberwocky. Now Jabberwocky doesn't follow these rules. It doesn't have rhyme all the way through, although it does sometimes. The rhythm is a little bit all over the place, and to be honest, it doesn't all make complete sense. Notice this whole thing is about a cow. Generally, poems are about one thing. It could be a poem about a flower, it could be a poem about autumn, about winter, about school. The Jabberwocky, I wonder if you can work out what it's about. 'Twas brillig and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome wrap out grape. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that snatch. Beware the jub bird, and shun the frumious bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand, long time the manic foe he sought, so rested he by the tum-tum tree, and stood a while in thought. And as in uffish thought he stood, the Jabberwock with eyes aflame came tulging through the bulgy wood and burbled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through, and through! His vorpal blade went snickersing, and with its head he left it dead, and went galumphing back. And hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy, O frabjous day, callooh, callay! He chortled in his joy. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe. Ul mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome wrath outgrabe. Okay, tune into the other poetry lessons to find out a little bit more about the rhythms, because the next thing we're going to do is look at syllables.